Hey everyone, welcome back to Brighthill. This is my second channel where I work on cars, including this Infiniti that you're currently resting on at the moment. My other cars are out here, the silver Infiniti. Just as an update, I have put the brakes from the other gray Infiniti on there and it's working a lot better, except it's still having battery problems. No clue why, and it bothers me a lot, and it almost stranded me at my job the other day, which was very disconcerting. So I've just stopped it for now. I'm gonna try and figure those out once I get through this other project I'm working on. So I have some news for you guys, and I'm not out for sympathy, don't worry. But I just recently lost my job, literally yesterday as I'm filming this, but that'll be Friday. Usually these videos come out on Mondays or, well, Wednesdays or whatever, but basically the schedule is screwed now because I can kind of just do whatever I want. I have a lot more time. Obviously, I'm looking for other work, and yeah, the circumstances are not great. But I'm trying to swing things in a positive way. This is a time for change. Obviously, that job wasn't working, so I am currently not working anymore. I'm a full-time YouTuber now. Oh goodness, that's not exactly where I'd want to be at the moment with the channels in their current positions, but that's how they are. So because I don't have a job anymore, I've made it my job to get this car out of the garage, and that means much more frequent updates, much more progress in each update. I'm working hard to get this stuff done. So with that in mind, let me show you exactly what I have finished so far. So the car is currently up on, well, my version of jack stands, which in this case is just the ramps. I have them pointed the opposite way so that the car can't roll anywhere. That's basically the theory behind that. The car is way lighter, and I can actually push it around now without all the interior and stuff that was in it before. And yeah, you can see there's still a bunch of scrap in here too. Speaking of scrap, hey, check this out. I have cut the exhaust out completely. I've been meaning to do this for a while, and I was hesitating, but the bolts on these flanges are just done. And I tried to get one of them off on one of the catalytic converters, and I very quickly realized that there was basically no way that was going to happen. So I've cut the Y off, and I cut off the rest of the muffler pipe as well, which looks like it's been hacked together. Like, this pipe is just done. I don't know if I'm going to be able to even use it for practice. It's just very thoroughly garbage. So basically what I'm going to do is when it comes time to get rid of this shell, which is currently jacked up to heck, I'm going to offer the scrapper that comes to pick it up most of my scrap metal as hopefully a way to get them interested in actually taking the car as well and giving me money for it. That's the idea. Other things I've figured out, so that unit there is basically only held on by the lines at the moment, just the heater core lines, and from the engine I mean, and also the AC lines, so not easy to take off. Speaking of AC, it's currently out here like this. I actually don't want to depressurize the system. I know that sounds nuts, but the reason is because it's illegal. At least I'm pretty sure it's illegal to discharge one of these lines just randomly around. I do not want to break the law, especially on YouTube. That would be bad. So again, I'm trying to get rid of this engine and everything here without purging the system by accident, and so that's why everything is still attached, but just unconnected at the moment. So in terms of the engine stuff, I have disconnected the power steering lines. They are connected to the rail here, which you're not going to be able to see very easily, but yeah, so that I guess it's a banjo bolt. Is that what it's called? The one bolt with a hole in it that's also hollow is out, so that means that that is disconnected. Regarding the back end, I think I'm going to steal the brakes off the back of this car and put them on my silver Infiniti because they might be useful. But at the moment, I'm literally just trying to get through some of the things that I'm scared of. And yeah, the exhaust was one of them. And I had to be under the car, and it's loud and noisy, and I burnt this blade, funnily enough. But yeah, just trying to get this dumb stuff done that needs to be done in order to get this car gone. Literally the only thing holding the cats on right now is these headers, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get those nuts off. We'll have to see if that's even possible. So, too much talking. I tend to do that a lot in these videos. Let me get through some more stuff here. I really, really, really want to make some progress today. I will get back to you soon. So remember when I said I was going to take the back brakes? Let me just show you. This is it with the light on. They're a little thin. That actually might be the thinnest rotors I've ever seen. Goodness, yeah, I'm not taking these. They are not going to work on my other Infiniti. But I may take the brake caliper just because I'm here. And yeah. I mean, if... I don't know, this back end, I'm gonna end up leaving this and the diff, I think, to go with the sale of the actual car, depending on how much I can get for it. I'm very confident that with the sale of the cats, which I'm working on getting with great difficulty because of how deep they are in there, and the fact that I can't get the nuts off, but as long as I can sell those and a few other misc things, maybe the back seats and stuff, just some of the extra pieces I have over there, then I should be able to make my money back. And then at that point, I'm not going to try and make more or too much more than what I have spent. That's literally it. I know I'm spending my own labor in place of spending money or losing money at this point, but it's also a learning experience, and I think it's important that I just continue with this anyways. So I'm just going to take off some pieces here, have a full brake set to give somebody if they want to buy it, and yeah, that'd be that. So it's been a week since those last recordings, and I have managed to pick this up in that time. Although I think I've had this for a week, so maybe it's been 2 weeks since those recordings. I'm kind of losing track of time, to be honest with you. But anyway, it's a random Monday, and it's a very lovely day. I figure it's a good time to attempt to get off these heater hoses at the back, because those are going to need to come off, and that is what this long lad is for. So let's see if it works. So as you would imagine, the clamps are off fairly easily with those vice grips, which is great, and I think those vice grips are also very useful, but I cannot get the rubber part off in this confined space. It's very difficult. So I set my sights on the exhaust, and if you look real closely, if it'll focus, yeah, just perfectly right there. The stud is missing a nut because I managed to take it off with a massive set of extensions. Okay, so admittedly my last pursuits have been in vain because I haven't been able to get the bolt off the other part of the catalytic converter, and I was struggling as well with that other thing. But I have some excellent news for you. So I jacked up the car. I've kind of just decided that I have to get over my fears, otherwise it's not going to happen. And by fears, I mean fears of getting under the car, because this is one of the pieces that made it fail in the first place. You can see how rotten that is, and that one is rotten as well. So way back in the day, if I had wanted to get this car certified, this was one of the pieces that I was going to need to change. So it's out now. This is from under the car. I think this thing is called the batwing. At least that's what it's called in the community. But there it is. It's out of the car. That makes me feel good. That is actually big progress, and something I've been trying to get rid of for a long time. So that'll go in my scrap metal box there. And yeah, then it's onto the back one, I guess, after this. But first, I'm going to try to get at the catalytic converters from the underside, because these things here were blocking each side. So this will make it a little bit easier. That's the whole point of taking it off, is literally just to get to the cats. I want them so bad. I really want to get something back on the budget here. I want to be close to that 3,000 to be motivated, and that's the goal. So let's keep working towards it. Okay, so here is the plan. I've been muddling over this for literally, well, way too long is the answer. Way too long. But I have decided that I want to try and do something, and that is what I'm going to work towards now. The issue, well, I'll tell you about some of the issues, but there are a few of them. So what I'm going to attempt to do is, because I don't have an engine hoist to be able to remove this engine easily, my plan at the moment is to just remove the entire front crossmember with the engine and transmission still attached, as well as these wheels, and then roll the shell back out into my driveway a little bit, and then be able to get some of the stuff off the engine, like the cats that I was working on earlier. This is a new day, so I don't know, it's a bit fuzzy what I've been doing, but that'll allow me to get the cats off, that'll allow me to get the transmission off, that'll allow me to remove everything that I need to, theoretically, with a much more open area to do so, a little bit easier to work in. So there are a few issues with this, as you would imagine. There are quite a few issues. One of them, and this is the biggest one I see so far, is that the bolts which are down here, oh man, this is gonna be hard to see, but if I flick on a light, you can see the actual crossmember bolts there. They are like stuck on, and I tried to yank one off the other day, and I was unsuccessful, so I'm gonna break out my air tools and see if that'll do it, and if not, then back to the drawing board, I guess, but they are not easy to take off. One of the big things that was important in the removal of the lower, or I guess not lower, but just entire front subframe, was the removal of that batwing thing there, or whatever it's called. That has sort of inspired me to take this on, because I didn't think I was going to be able to get that thing off cleanly, and I'm very happy to report that it did indeed come off cleanly. So if I can remove all of this in one thing, it's going to be a lot easier for me to work on it. Other things to think about: the drive shaft needs to be removed from the end of the transmission and possibly the end of the rear differential, so that's got to be something that goes. The fuel lines are still attached to the engine, so I'm going to need to remove those and somehow plug them, because there's still fuel in the tank, and I need to drain that tank somehow, as difficult as that will be. The AC and the heater are still hooked up, and I think the suspension is going to have to come off there, no doubt, but other than that, we seem to be fairly sorted. I mean, the brake lines and such have been cut already, the power steering is loosened, and also it's basically just held on by that bar through there, which will come out pretty easily. I don't have to worry about taking engine mounts off or anything at the moment. It really just comes down to removing these pieces for the crossmember. Now, it would theoretically be easier just to remove the entire engine with an engine hoist, because that would just be engine mounts, fuel lines, heater core, that stuff, and AC as well would need to be removed. But at this point, I feel like taking the entire thing off is easier, as dumb as that sounds. So that's what I'm going to try, and then we'll see where to go from there. But I think no matter what, I'm going to end up having to get a hoist. It's just delaying the inevitable, I guess. It has been a few hours, at least 2, but I managed to get the entire drive shaft out. Holy crap, that was an endeavor. I ended up having to use the jack to crack the bolts on the end, because they were red Loctited in, which is understandable, but man, oh man, that was difficult. But yeah, the car is now officially drive shaft free and looking fairly empty underneath. So the differential is now not connected to the transmission, and yeah, that is a huge step done on my road to greatness here. Finally got that diff out. The next big thing is probably going to be maybe the gas tank. I'll have to go and buy some stuff to drain it first, but holy I think I'm ready to post an update. I'll see you guys in the next one.